Welcome. Today we are going to be talking about musical theater. So, the first question to answer is what is a musical? It's kind of pretty easy. It's a combination of song, dialogue, and dance to tell a story. This is kind of different than our regular plays. Now, you can have a play with music in it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a musical. All song, dance, and dialogue should be used to further the story, to make the story be told through those mediums. All right, so let's talk a little bit about each of these. First is dialogue. Dialogue is obviously the spoken word of a musical. The book is what we call a script for a musical. All must be used to tell a story and to further the story. That's pretty obvious in dialogue because that's how plays are normally told, so that one's a pretty no-brainer. Second, song. Those are the sung words of the musical. There are a bunch of types of songs. Here are two examples. An I am song. An I am song introduces a character, who they are, what they do, what they want, what they feel. An I want song is a song about what a character wants, needs, and wishes for. You can find both of these type of songs in a musical. The singing, though, has to keep telling the story and further the story. It can't just be a song for song's sake. So plays that have maybe about someone that sings and that's a part of their career, that would be a play with music in it, not the other way around. Then we have dance. Dance is any physical movement of a musical. There's all types of dance that are used in musicals, like traditional ballet, jazz, tap, and there's also more modern, hip-hop, all kinds of stuff that is all kinds of dance to help further the story. All must be used, again, to tell the story, to further the story. It's not just dancing because, they're at a dance. Now, that may be part of the story, but unless it's telling the story. One of the biggest examples of this can be like in Oklahoma, there's a whole ballet where she's having a dream, and the dream ballet tells her dream, and that's using dance to further the story. Or like, say, in Hamilton, which is a more modern musical written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, they use dance in there to help further the story, to help and the movement to tell the story of like battles. Obviously can't have a real battle on stage, so they use that movement and physicality to help tell the story. Here are some important people that are a part of writing and producing a musical that are different than plays. Not all of them, but some of them. First is a composer. Your composer writes the actual music. So like if you see on my little theater faces up in the corner, you see like a musical note written there, and then another musical reference up there as well. Like, that's the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and the playing, like, the piano plays this, and then the violins play that. That's a composer. Then the lyricist writes the words of the music. So that's what the actual words are being sung. Instead of it going, do, 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 da, la, la, fa, fa, mi, 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 it's gonna be like, and then I went to the train station. It's the actual what they're saying while they're singing. Then those are the people that help kind of write it. Obviously, you have your playwright, etc., that writes the book and stuff. But then we get into shows. We're gonna have special people like the conductor. This person leads all the musicians during the performance. That person, way down center, if you ever go see, that waves their hands back and forth, kind of like a drum major and our marching band, but for orchestra. Then we have the choreographer. Choreographer is that person that teaches the performers all the dances for the show. They come up with the show movement that is special, and they're in charge of teaching all the performers and cleaning and making that look good for the show. Then we have our director. The director is not different than a regular play. The big thing, though, for a director in a musical is that they make sure all that dialogue and dance and music come together to create a cohesive performance. It's hard to be a director for a musical because you have to work with a lot of people and you have to put all these moving parts together. So that's what a musical is and who makes a musical. Now you've got a musical, and now you want to make it famous, you want to get it on Broadway. Today's musical theater is centered in the theater district of New York City, along a street called Broadway. If you make it on Broadway, you can make it anywhere. The Tonys are a very special award ceremony, awards that are given to Broadway plays and musicals. This is presented by the American Theater Wing and the Broadway League. As I said, awards are given to Broadway plays and musical. Best Musical is the biggest award of the night. At the Tonys, they usually show a bit a piece of from all the nominated Best Musicals so that we can all see them, even though we may not get to see them on Broadway. Tonys, a lot of famous actors that we may see in movies may also have a Tony. There's a thing called the Magical Four where you can get a Tony, a Grammy, an Oscar, and I think something else. But anyways, some of our some famous people like Whoopi Goldberg have Tonys and things like that. Now what I need you to do, guys, is now that you've watched this or you've read the notes that are attached in the Google Classroom, I want you to answer the 5 questions on the Google form and click Submit about musical theater. You'll have a great week, and I'll see you next week.